Hi, my name is Vanessa Mieleszko, and I am a contributor with the English language version of the Barricade. I'm here with Maria Cernat, and here to talk about a disturbing incident that's unfolding in Romania currently about the vlogger, Alexandru Balan, and his recent video that was encouraging violent rape of young girls. Thank you for speaking with us today, Maria.
Thank you very much for having me, Vanessa.
Do you think you could give us more details about this incident?
Yes, well, a couple of days ago, in the social media, there was a huge debate about this vlogger that was inciting to violence. Actually, he did a video in 2015, but only now it surfaced when a lot of the young people that follow feminist organization page Filia, that's the name of the feminist organization, started to make the feminist organization aware of the fact that this vlogger is inciting to violence against women. It is not the first time we have this problem in Romania. We had also a very famous songwriter that published a video that was very violent and encouraging violence against women. And it was at that point when the feminist organization realized that this is actually against the law. Here in Romania, we are very new to this type of initiatives where feminist organizations try to bring to the justice people who are inciting to violence against women. And this is why the first time it happened with the singer that published a video that had women beaten up and treated like animals, put in cages and with chains around their necks and with lyrics saying that this is how you should treat women. It was then that the police actually took the initiative of arresting that singer. And this is when they realized that they should collaborate with the state institution to try to bring to justice this type of individuals. And this time around, they directly, because the last time they went to the Council Against Discrimination here in Romania, but this time around they went directly to the DA's office and made a complaint about this individual, and they took action actually very quickly.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a very swift response, even though the blogger's film in question was from 5 years ago. Another question I have is about the issue of freedom of speech. Do you think this is going to come up, or is this also part of the controversy? I don't know if controversy is the right word, but the conversation around this incident.
Well, it could be part of the conversation, but here in Romania, we have a law that clearly states that you should not incite to violence when you're a public a person and you speak in public. So we have a law against it. I don't know how efficient it is, because nowadays the freedom of speech is being fetishized, is like a fetish, everybody talks about it like it's their idol, and nobody wants to see that you have to have a balanced perspective on the values that you have. On one part, you have the value of speech, but then again, you have the safety of your citizens. You cannot protect the freedom of speech at all costs, even that if it means an individual inciting to such violent acts against women. And of course, it is a tricky issue, because when do you stop? And people are more willing to protect the freedom of speech than try to see how we can balance certain values in our society.
Mm-hmm. Right. So there's on one hand the idea, or running up against the idea of freedom of speech, and then there's also the very real fact that this person is making misogynist and violent threats against girls and women, which is it sounds like a perpetual problem within Romania as well.
Yes, of course. And the problem here, I think, runs more deep. because it was only one journalist, I think it was Costi Rogozanu, a famous journalist in Romania, that said, well, we have to look and see, follow the money. I mean, you have a media system, and unfortunately, he was the only one that tried to tackle the issue from the media theorist perspective. And this is where I also come from. I mean, you have to see that you have a system that encourages this type of individuals making all these sorts of violent threats because they gather an audience, and that audience can easily be monetized. We had Diana Meseșan, a young journalist here in Romania, who did a very detailed and well-documented piece on all the companies that use this vlogger to promote their products. And of course, she wrote to them, she did some sort of public shaming, but you see, I don't know how efficient this is. We have a much deeper problem about, and it's about the way the social media system works. It works by monetizing crazy things people say to an unregulated platform, because here you can address the problem by taking certain individuals into the police custody. We also have women, Dana Budanu, who said that women should be punched, and she specifically gave instructions on how a man should beat up a woman so that the others will be terrorized enough not to speak up again. So we have this problem. I think, as I told you, you can put the blame on the individuals, but then again, you have the YouTube platform and nobody is facing any sort of responsibility here. And I think that's a big problem, because Google had billions of dollars in terms of revenues and zero social responsibility.
Right, and this is an issue that we're also, it's starting to come into the forefront in the United States, where now Trump has, the president, Donald Trump, wants to remove, I forget the term for it, but basically remove the immunity of social media platforms from disseminating or providing a platform for people, or monitoring or censoring or debunking information that individuals spread. But going back to the issue of the status of women and girls in Romania, I was wondering if if there's a way, if you have any thoughts, or does this blogger's film also have any connections for you to the rape and murder of the 15-year-old girl? I really can't remember her name right now, unfortunately, but she was
well, there is systemic violence against women in Romania, of course, and this system, this media system, only amplifies this type of systemic violence. We should recall that this is a very unsettling research result when the Gender Equality Index came a few years ago for Romania. That's research conducted at the level of European Union. It turned out that 55% of Romanians think that in some circumstances rape is justifiable. I mean, if you dress in a certain way, then probably you deserve to be raped. If you had alcohol, then probably you deserve to be raped. If you go home with the individual, these are reasons that most of the Romanians gave. And this is a problem. Just like Alexandra Rusu, the head of the feminist organization Filia, said, well, among these 55% of Romanians, there are judges, police officers, social workers who think, and this is deeply rooted in their mentality, that, well, sometimes women deserve to be raped. And this is exactly what this individual was saying about 16-year-old girls, that if they dress provocatively, they should be beaten up, spat on, and they should be raped, actually. And he had a base, I mean, he had followers and fans who defend him. And he had almost, I think, almost 1 million followers. A lot of people followed him. And we had also another person, Bendiakis, his name, who left for minutes at the confession that a girl made of her being sexually abused. And it was on TV, and people were clapping and applauding and thinking that Bendiak is right in doing this type of comments about the sexual abuse. So it is pretty normalized, and it is only now that we are beginning to see how much damage is being done by amplifying this type of messages and by having this type of media systems that actually monetize on this type of violent discourse.
So they are verbalizing this victim blaming, which is a symptom of the patriarchal, like, broader society that we're fighting against, and they're benefiting from it on top of that.
Well, of course, because you see, that video that this guy made was online, and it helped sell a lot of products, probably. This is how the system works. And until you find alternative ways to finance the press, you find alternative way to regulate social media platforms, there is no way we are going to escape this, because now you are bringing to justice this individual, you are trying to make a public shaming, but then again, the problem will appear again and again. And what bothers me here, as I told you, is that this individual is going to pay, but the media that allowed him to make this type of comments is not going to pay a dime.
Do you think that there's potential for a global, or maybe just in Romania, a response to or initiative to address this inequity or this gap in accountability for platforms that essentially support YouTube personalities or personalities that promote violence?
Well, it is very unfortunate that it had to be Trump, the one that gave this type of order. And it is very unfortunate that he gave that order after 2 of his tweets were labeled as, I don't know, not safe, or as probably
unverified, I think was the term, right?
What was the term?
I think it's unverified.
Unverified or stuff like that.
Or like they had to fact check it, something like this.
That it is this individual who has this type of authoritarian tendencies that was the one that finally drew a bill that media theorists such as myself and other media theorists all over the world are discussing and debating for years now. And I think that we can only deal together with misogyny, capitalism, and neocolonialism. You cannot fight one without fighting the others. We have a capitalist system that monetizes on violent discourses that blame women and incite to violence against women, young women. This was actually by Romanian law pedophilia. I mean, if you're 28 and saying that you should have sex with 15 to 16 years old, this is actually pedophilia. So you have this system that actually monetizes this type of discursive violence against women. And until you go to the root of the problem, you have this monstrous octopus that you are cutting parts of, but you never go for the head.
Right, you're never getting to the body of it. That's true. Thank you so much, Maria, for your time, and I look forward to future discussions with you.